Hello, and welcome to season one of the podcast Bernie's Dad Personal Reflections. I'm your host, Eric Landrum from Psych Sessions and Boise State University. This podcast lives at an unexpected but hopefully rich intersection. My 35 plus years as a psychology educator and my life with a new puppy named Bernie Sanders. Bernie is part Shih Tzu, part poodle, and, like many of the best teachers and students in psychology, mostly joy with a little bit of mischief mixed in. As I reflect on my career and get to know this energetic little guy, I've started to notice meaningful parallels between the two. Teaching, mentoring, learning, patience, growth. These themes show up whether you're in a classroom or on a walk with your puppy. Each episode of Bernie's Dad is short and reflective, built around a single idea. Episode titles are one word, often inspired by terms from the adjective checklist, and serve as a lens for exploring both professional life and personal experience. While this is primarily a solo podcast, I may invite guests from time to time when it feels right. My hope is that these episodes are small, satisfying nuggets, something you can savor, reflect on, and perhaps carry with you into your own work and life. I also suspect you'll recognize segments of your own career in many of the topics we explore together. My thanks to Psych Sessions for supporting this project. And now, on with the show. Hi, this is Eric, and welcome to episode 6 titled Playful. Now, when I use the term playful, I'm gonna look at it a couple different ways. Again, this podcast is all about the parallels that I see between my career over time and our relatively new puppy, Bernie Sanders, who is 1.5 years old. He is a mix of Shih Tzu and Poodle, and just a real joy, just an absolute joy. I mean, so much so, the title of the podcast is Bernie's Dad. And I'm very proud to take that role I placed upon myself. But obviously, as a puppy, he's just playful and curious and interested in the world around him and loves to play, loves to roughhouse. It's not really that rough, but I think to him, he kind of, he's a big bear and he's kind of roughhousing around. And I see the parallels over my own career. And when I think of playful for myself, I think about it from two different perspectives. One is being playful with respect to my colleagues, enjoying them, enjoying our conversations, enjoying our time together, enjoying faculty meetings. And that's sometimes a challenge, but I think there's times, appropriate times, that you can be playful and not get too off course. And so there's that playfulness with my colleagues. I this is for me. I can't generalize this to anybody else. But most of the best conversations I've ever had in my career have been what I would call hallway conversations. That is, I was walking to the main office or going to the bathroom and I'm in the hallway and someone's got their door open or someone else is in the hallway, and you just start having this conversation about whatever the topic of the day is, or the thing that came up in the last faculty meeting, or some new missive that came from the president's office. And so it's those hallway conversations that have been playful and enjoyable and memorable in my career. And I hope this is universal. I've talked to some people at other places, but it's kind of frequent to hear stories about how ideas get birthed in the hallway. Yes, we have nice offices and comfortable chairs, and we have coffee shops on campus that one can go to. But I've actually been a part of and then also overheard research ideas or teaching ideas that are birthed in the hallway and taken to the lab or taken to the classroom and explored. And so that's a lot of fun when that happens. And so I think there's this playfulness with colleagues. And I think for me, the other piece of playful has been trying to infuse humor where applicable, where appropriate, with not always success, obviously, but just kind of being playful. I mean, what we do is very serious business, and when I start teaching a course, I try to give my students shortcuts to understanding me. And probably the one I give most often is this. I take my job very seriously, but I do not take me seriously. And when people can understand that nuanced approach, whether it's faculty or staff or students, I think people get it. I think people get it that we can have fun while we're doing the things that we need to do. I think it's okay to be playful. And, every time I get home from work, I've got this little puppy Bernie waiting for me, and he's excited, not overly excited, but excited to see me. I'm excited to see him. And there's this playfulness of spirits and going on walks and letting him have, his sniff routine and what my wife calls checking the pee mail or, just getting that enrichment from a walk where, I'm not tugging on him the whole time. We're going to slow down and smell the roses whenever he wants to. And so I think playfulness has been a really big, important part of my career. And I also think playfulness with a puppy is a really important part of his development and just the temperament of being around this amazing Bernie. Anyway, that is episode 6 for Playful. And as always, I appreciate you listening. Inspired by teaching, guided by Bernie. Keep learning, keep growing, and take care. I'll see you next time.